I think everybody knows what a creepypasta is, unless you live under a rock. So for the people that don't know what a creepypasta is, let me explain you what creepypastas are. The definition of creepypasta according to Wikipedia. A creepypasta is a horror-related legend, which has been shared around the internet. The term creepypasta has since become a catch-all term for any horror content posted onto the internet. These entries are often brief, user-generated, paranormal stories that are intended to frighten readers. The subjects of creepypastas vary widely and can include topics such as ghosts, cryptids, murder, zombies, aliens, rituals to summon entities, haunted television shows, and video games. Creepypastas range in length from a single paragraph to extended multi-part series that can span multiple media types, some lasting for years. You have classics like The Slender Man, Bent Round, but you also have a lot of bad stories like Jeff the Killer and Sonic.exe to name a few. And today I will be going over the creator of one of those stories, JC the Hyena, and his creation, Sonic.exe. So further ado, let's get into the video. First, I'm gonna read Sonic.exe. Sorry if the audio has some background noise. It was storming a lot. I put a timestamp in if you don't care about the story and want to see the reaction of JC the Hyena. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played a glitchy or hacked game before. I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you get to explore the towns in it. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox. As usual and left, I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that, whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting, though what was weird is how it looked. It looks badly written and scratchy, and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow, before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy the CD, he comes after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you destroy him, but do it quick, otherwise he catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it, please. Kyle. Well, that was weird, even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. You already told this. I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc will do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looks like an ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had black marker on it written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like in pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it. Since I'm a big Sonic fan, bigger than a Sonic Sega gamer, I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like awesome, because like I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start. There was a split second when I saw the title image turned into something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying, before cutting to black. I remember what the image looks like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega in 1991 was now instead Sega 666. How can you see that? And the water had turned red, like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic. Ooh, hyper-realistic. But the freakiest thing that was in that split second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding, with 2 glowing red dots staring right at me, and his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forget about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and it was like, what the fuck? What was this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark cloudy sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. The music was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. And the image for the save file where you can see the preview of the level you're on is just the red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles and to my surprise Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game for crying out loud? That's when I realized that this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer I wasn't scared, or at least I try not to be. I told myself that it was just a hacked game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails. And when I selected and got started, the game froze for 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh. That sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy, before cutting to black. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more, then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red. And the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails and Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody, in reverse. Anyway, I started playing, and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level. There was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to lower deep into the slow deep tones very slowly. As I kept going, I suddenly saw something and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before, so I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals. As Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers, and he moves past more dead animals. This is so bad. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in a rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanging on a tree, it appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed, after that music stopped. Tails was running up a hill and then he stopped. It was until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen, with his back against Tails, when his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting, as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move, so this had to have been a cutscene. Suddenly I began to have a growing feeling of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard fainted static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped. This creepypasta writer doesn't know how to use commas in his story, so I need to make a comma in it because it's so annoying to read really long parts without a pause. Okay, I continue reading and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like that title image, though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then while the text appeared forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with the level title now saying Hide and Seek. This time it was the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me, as if he wants to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was started to get freaked out. By this I mean Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of here. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy theme where you made Shadow at the Argos Robotnik from Sonic Adventure was playing, as I made Tails trek through the desolated forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kafka laugh, right after 10 seconds have passed, as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping up everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails, slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose his sprite was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red eyes again, only this time he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained upon him. Suddenly when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails lay there and started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch and I kind of teared up myself, but then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes of Sonic as a grin slowly grew from his face. As he looked down at the horrified fox, I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow, want to try again?" And that god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by that what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding, his orange fur had gone black, and he had the expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again and the screen cut to black again, and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack or some kind of sick twisted joke or anything really, but despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of Scrap Brain Zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Geiger's theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails, and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on, but I made him move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level, and as he did, the screen started flickering red static a couple of times, and then that meddling laugh came again. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible was going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes. And then red static appeared again, when the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you." I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? You really get scared of text? Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time that high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles, in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in a black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again, and Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and even I felt like I was going crazy. I'm losing my insanity! Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then in a split second Sonic lunged at Knuckles and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with, so little time, would you agree? What the hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish grey, his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too, and he had a look of sadness in his face. I began to think that those are actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, so I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap. Wish I hadn't, cause I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in a pitch black darkness though. I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us!" and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too." Their cries died out as I then heard Sonic's laugh. His laugh, it sounded a lot like the distorted Kafka laugh. You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Carl, though he didn't last long. I was scared and looked around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends. I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions. You can't run, kid. You're my rival now, just like the others. When he grabbed me and I saw his bleeding back and red-eyed grinning face, I woke up with fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought it was wacky playing as Robotnik, but anyway the level title appeared again. And this time it said ... which I found really freaky. I mean, you can play Dr. Eggman in Sonic Adventure 2, right? So it's not the first time. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games though it has the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were dark greyish purple with animated candle lights and a few dark bloodstains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above on the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly, but whenever you're playing the game you can barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant, a piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it was in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face. As if he was just a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and then shrugs at me, as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on, even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen. I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his unusual running animation. You know when you're beating him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him. As we continue going through the hallway, then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous, even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it, and then we headed down another flight of stairs down. This one was much longer, took at least 1 full minute, and then I heard that horrid Kafka laugh again, and then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out. Though he tried to hide it, I wouldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did to Knuckles. And then the red static The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then it showed me the most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic Sonic standing in the darkness, where you can only see his face, where his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean he looked so real. You could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen. And that's saying something, considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes are white and black, and once again crying blood, which also looks hyper-realistic. And there were two small glowing red dots in those blackened eyes. Staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the side of his face, like a Cheshire cat. Except Sonic had fangs. Very sharp fangs, might I add. Much like the werewolf teeth, except more vicious looking. Somewhat yellowish from the look of it. He had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs, as if he ate some animal. I stared at that gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it. I felt as he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, it just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. The screen flickered with red static again 3 times, and on the 3rd time I heard the Kafka laugh, except this time it sounded distorted and demonic. Even. It went back to the image again. Except this time, there was text again, though it was messed up. But it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things since I had this game. I'm God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic, and when it hit me, I realized right there and then, this Sonic was a monster. A pure, evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster, and all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles and Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys, and the game is his very gateway into the chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. That is overdramatic. Suddenly in an actual split second I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open, to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literal spiraling abyss of pure darkness, before the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears, as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds, then it stopped and showed nothing but a black screen. As I sat there, staring at the black screen, one last text came up, "Ready for round 2, Tom." The Kafka laugh now sounded more clear, as if Sonic was right behind me. Played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time the 3rd save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned dull grey, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broken and blood is coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails and Knuckles and Robotnik and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they are going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified what just happened. Sonic is a very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game, literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer, I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on after I sat there for 25 seconds. I hear the voice right behind me, like a whisper, "Try to keep it interesting for me, Tom." I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie with blood stains under its eyes. At least it's not the plushie of Ya Sonic. Hope you enjoyed me reading Sonic.exe. Anyways, his story got removed from the CreepyPasta wiki, and this is his response. I deeply regret to inform you all that I've received some bad news. The admins of the CreepyPasta wiki have finally decided to delete Sonic.exe off the wiki, on the grounds that it was badly written, and it had too many cliches, and was a bad example of what should be a creepypasta. Bull freaking horseshit. As you can see, I'm furious with the fact that my masterpiece, which has won the hearts of millions, and has made a massive impact on the internet, is being brought down by a bunch of jealous, arrogant, regarded furry haters. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to sit down and take this lightly. Nope. Nope. They have been messing with the bull, and now they have called out the horns. Listen everyone, I need your help with this. We are at war here. I want every Sonic.exe fan who is reading this to get the word out. I want you to tell every other Sonic.exe fan out there, every fanatic, every artist, every follower of my creation about this. Tell your friends who are Sonic.exe fans. If they have to, tell them we have to keep the spirit of Sonic.exe alive. Make more fan art, make more videos, block the haters. Praise Sonic.exe like you never have before. The deletion of Sonic.exe from the wiki is but a minor cut on our flower of greatness, my friends. And that cut has done nothing but further spreading. And we are the pollen of this flower. We need to prepare for our victory over the haters. The haters need to bleed for their crimes. Rejoice, my fellow Sonic.exe fans. Our little glorious hellspawn shall have the laugh yet. This will be his ultimate victory. The absolute subjugation of the internet itself. You can see he has a very big ego. He also made Sonic.exe round 2. It's even worse than the first one. I'm not gonna read it. Maybe if a lot of people really want it, then I will do it. The last time I did a bad CreepyPasta video, well, the video didn't really do that well. I'm gonna skip to 2021. In 2021, JC the Hyena got exposed for grooming minors and having not safe for work roleplays with them. I will just show you the screenshots and go over them. It's pretty disturbing. He has been doing this as early as 2011, but people only found out because of the leaked Discord messages. I had to cut ties with the author of Sonic.exe because of this. What the fuck? He said he had no idea they were 14, even though those screenshots proved otherwise. And he admitted he did do that roleplay. So these prints are real. Also, I don't know if you knew, I was only 13, 14 at the time. He knows I'm 20 now, when he sent some of his not safe for work art. So it seems that I'm not the only one. How the fuck has he not been called out? Sorry, I had to blur those screenshots, just in case something pops up. I will show you the conversation soon. I will just censor the words I cannot show on YouTube. Check out my Rumble if you want to see the full uncensored video. Also, JC the Hyena tried to contact Dollmaker with an alternate Fur Infinity account. I will read the post now. You don't have to talk to me, but please read this message. I couldn't message you anywhere else because you blocked me, but you really need to know the truth of things. I want to apologize to you. I honestly did not know you were underage. I legit do not remember ever showing you corn artwork. I'm honestly not even sure how you even acquired them in the first place. I sent you that Fern Affinity link because I genuinely thought you were interested in art commissioned for me. I never intended to come off as creepy or perverted in any kind of way. And I'm really sorry if I ever really did make you feel that way. It was never my intention, and I want you to know I'm sorry. I've been trying to contact you about it, so I can apologize to you. I had to get Shannon to relay the message. I'm sending the message to you here, because I literally don't know any other way to tell you this. I know you don't want to talk to me right now, and you're right not to want to, but please, you are only right about one thing, okay? Yes. I did, unfortunately did. Not safe for work, RP with Devil Hunter. A part of my mind wanted to stop as soon as he told me his age, but I didn't. I've regretted it ever since. I even talked to Devil Hunter about it, and he's told me he regretted it happening too. He said he was on painkillers when it happened, and he made no attempt in stopping me himself, and he feels really bad for letting it slip. He doesn't believe me as a PDF file, and I'm really not. What I did was just completely stupid, and I've been trying like crazy to make the damage it's causing as minimal as possible. I don't even like underage people. I have far too many bad experiences dealing with children to even want to do anything with them. You have to believe me, Helena. Point is, I'm sorry, okay? I don't know any other way to say it. Please forgive me. I don't expect you to talk to me after this, but please stop making it escalate at least. It's bad enough the group's completely disbanded because of me. I don't want any more people to pay for my mistake. I'm sorry I made you think I was doing anything perverted with you. It was never my intention. And I'm sorry with what I did with Devil Hunter. I'm trying to make up for it. I really am. This is Helena's response. One just can't forgive stuff like those. Doing not safe for work stuff with minors, erotic RPing, things I cannot show on YouTube, suggestive messages, etc. It's very serious. It's not like a minor mistake that one can apologize for. I'm sorry if I hurt you, but I don't feel comfortable around you anymore. Those things are very serious and grave, like with James Charles, Minilat, Cryotic, Onision, Davy Vanity, EDP445, etc. It damages people. It's not like fictional underage characters, Shota Lolly, in which no actual kids are being harmed. It's about real minors. Also, I was underage, I couldn't pay any commissions. You should have asked my age in the first place. I don't know what you can do. I just know that those things are very grave and will stain your name forever. For the final time, Hyena, too Hoolicious. There is one more person than JC the Hyena, and this person is Shannon. This conversation is between Shannon and someone else that got leaked. It also seems that JC the Hyena gave the rights of Sonic.exe to her. Hey, sorry for that super late DM. I had my second COVID shot on Thursday, and I felt like shit all day, kind of, yesterday. I'm doing much better now though, so you and I can chat. Hi Shannon, is not a problem. I want to discuss with you the situation with JC and hopefully get a better understanding of some things that transpired. Yes, absolutely. Hyena showed me the pictures of your DMs with her. I noticed you were still typing. Is there anything else you meant to say? Well, to start off, I had absolutely no idea he was doing any of this behind my back. I honestly thought I could trust him. Seeing messages of convos I personally had with make me want to mentally break down. Especially since I was on there myself. I would never do anything like that with minors. I'd feel like a monster otherwise. Personally, I'm not a fan of kids, but I would much rather stay away from them when it comes to stuff like that. Even if he isn't a fucking pedo. He emotionally manipulated me and used me. Actually no, wait, he is a pedo. Shannon, don't lie to yourself. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Right. I do hear what you're saying. It's unfortunate that he has manipulated several people, especially yourself, considering he was fully aware of the ages of those involved. He most definitely is a PDF file, and what he did is illegal. My hang up here, Shannon, is that we know each other on DeviantArt when I was 13-14, and you knew about my own age. Yet we still engage in erotic roleplays through notes. Whatever or not you intended to cause harm, paired with the bullshit from GC as well, as another person regarding the Sally.exe fiasco, it was incredibly damaging. I'm also concerned for your sake, because you are twice my age at the time, so I'd just like to know what you have to say on this. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me even though this is super unpleasant. Oh Jesus, maybe I was poisoned by GC, I'm sorry. I really am. I usually don't continue that shit after I realize what I'm doing. I really am sorry. If I somehow mess you up, that is not okay. I'm not a monster. I promise and vow to never do it again. I just hope you can forgive me. At the moment I'm not sure if I'm ready to accept any apologies, but I do appreciate hearing it from you. Our friendship back then was nice at the time, although in hindsight, it seems we did not have any clear and healthy boundaries. In fact, there was a point where I was developing a crush on you, which is disturbing to have realized some years later. My feelings are not your responsibility, of course, and you are responsible for your own actions as an adult. However, the manner in which we speak to each other was extremely affectionated to the point of coming as inappropriate, calling each other waifu, and other such things. Isn't a healthy relationship that a child should have with a 14-year-old. I don't harbor any horrendous feelings towards you. I don't hate you. I don't necessarily think that you have groomed me with malicious intent, and instead I choose to believe we are both very codependent and sought out to nurture in a very toxic way. With my own bias aside, this is a legal issue whatever way you try to slice it. I get it. I understand wholeheartedly. I feel monstrous enough as it is. I know very well that shit is illegal, and I'm extremely sorry if you do not wish to speak with me again, or if you don't want to be friends with me anymore. I never meant to hurt you. I don't want to necessarily blame JC on everything, but he was a huge influence in my life at the time, and I was in love with him. I do my very best to obey the law. I've been abused by 2 online boyfriends in the past, so I may be poisoned overall. I don't know. But I want you to know that I mean, no I will, and that is sometimes worse. I feel horrible, I really do. This whole situation really has opened my eyes. Shannon, please understand that I never gathered the implications that you meant to hurt me, or anyone else. I like you. I've been abused and manipulated by others. This is what happens when boundaries are not set in place. You lose yourself to the other person, and all your resources are taken from you, and you continue to give as a means of being rewarded with false validation. It's a tragic thing, and I do fully empathize with the fact that you have been taken advantage of. For the longest time I've struggled to talk about what happened with GC, because the man gathered an immense following, and I felt as though I was unable to confide in you because of the role he made you play. The way he spoke about himself so highly, I looked down on others, it made me worry for you, but as a child I was uncertain what path to take. I didn't expect all of this to unravel so quickly, and I know this is a very emotionally charged topic. I can tell you that. I can tell that you are panicking a bit. I can tell that you are panicking a bit from all this. I'm not upset or pointing fingers, anything like that, if it helps any. I simply want to reach a solid closure on this shit that's eaten both of us up for almost 10 years. I promise you, I'm a good person. I still consider you a friend, and I can also assure you I will never do anything like that with minors again. And yes, it has been 10 years since I reached out to you. I probably should have, because I did think about you. I probably should have done some more. I promise, you can trust me. This whole scenario makes me want to TP stay behind closed doors for a very long time, because of how scared I feel. And honestly, I'm grateful you don't see me as the bad guy. I'm sorry this has been eaten at you for so long. I should not have done what I did. It was a mistake that I deeply regret. I'm probably gonna go to hell for it now. Look, Shannon, I know that you feel really bad about all of this, because it is a serious thing you did after being groomed and manipulated, as I have. However, the way you're voicing your feelings, well, I completely understand it, is taking away from the accountability and potential repair of the situation. It's coming off fairly guilt-tripping. It's placing your fears and guilt over the overall issue. I'm glad to have your side of the story, but we need to be clear-headed about this. I completely understand if you wish to press charges. I don't know right now. I might or might not. For now, I would like to get to the bottom of this issue with you here. I understand wholeheartedly. You can trust me. I've not done it with anyone else since. But if you press charges, I will go to trial. There's no way around that. Okay, I understand that, but I do not want to focus on the potential future right now. If you need some time to recollect yourself so we can come back to this, please, I urge you to do so. I will. Thank you for being understanding. I know it seems like sugarcoating the situation, but I'm really not. It's just hard because I could lose everything after what I did, and if that day comes, I'll be ready. I'm definitely talking to my therapist about this though. We'll talk again when I'm more stable. Goodbye for now. Goodbye for now. Thank you for having this talk with me. Even though this wound is still fresh. Even with everything, I still wish for you to heal. Thank you. After this, Shannon gives the rights of Sonic.exe to someone else. After a while, JC the Hyena made one final post on his Twitter and Fur Affinity. Important message to all. Note, I'm posting this message in an image because I don't know if it will fit on Twitter's stupid character limit. Important message. After having so much time alone, I've come back to this platform to apologize for what I did. There is no excuse for interacting with Devil Hunter in such an inappropriate and perverted way. I take full responsibility of my actions, and I deeply apologize for everyone I've interacted with inappropriately, and I promise it will never happen again this point forward. While I can never fully make up for my terrible actions, I want to move forward and redeem myself. However, I cannot, not only for my sake, but for the people around me. Again, I apologize for what I've done. There is no excuse for what I did, and I encourage others to speak up. Sir JC. There's not really a happy ending to the story. I really hope JC and Shannon don't hurt any more kids. But personally I think it would be better if they get arrested, so it will never happen again. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit more dark than my normal videos, but I hope you enjoyed it anyways. I hope you all have a good day and I see you in the next video. Bye.